Hey everybody, I was wanting to go over this real quick about expanded form. This is when you have a number and you're changing it into what's called expanded form. Now what's a little bit weird about expanded form is there's actually two different ways that you can write it or see it. So the first thing you have to do is you have to look at your number first. So my number here that we're going to be working with today is 3,070,408. So when you're going into expanded form, I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. The first way to do it is you can write what each digit is worth. So what I mean by that is, let's look at the first digit in this number. That's not a zero. We don't have to worry about zeros because zeros are just, they're blank. Let's look at the 3. What column is that 3 in? Well, it's in the millions column. So instead of writing 3, what we can write is 3 million. So we can write it as 3 million. That is what that digit is worth. So then we're going to go to the second number, or the second digit that's not a 0, which is a 7. So with the 3 million, we are going to add 7 what? Well, what column is it in? It's in the 10,000s column. So instead of having 10,000, we have 7 10,000s. 7 10,000s is 70,000. So we add 70,000 in because this is 70,000. The other way to look at this is, check this out. If you take this 7 and then the rest of the digits below it, if you change it to zeros, how many zeros would there be? There would be 4. Well, I have a 7 with 4 zeros. That's another way you can do it to remember it. All right, so we're finished with the 7. I don't have to do the 0. I'm going to go to the 4 now. What column is the 4 in? The hundreds. Well, how do you write 400s or 400? Yeah, it's 400. And then we're going to go to the last one on this one. It's just 8. Well, what column is the 8 in? It's in the ones column. So all we have to do is write 8. Now, that is one way to write it in expanded form, or one way that you will see expanded form. The other way is actually when we split this up. So instead of having 3 million, sorry, I wanted to do it like this. Instead of having 3 million, you start with your first digit, it's still the 3. You can write 3. And then we're going to take it times what column it's in. What column is it in? The millions. How do you write million? 1 million. So we have 3 times 1 million. That's the same as 3 million. If we multiplied it out, it's 3 million. But another way you can write it in expanded form, or see it in expanded form, is 3 times a million. So then we're going to put our plus sign. What's our next digit? It's the 7. The 7 is in which column? The 10,000. So we're going to add 7 times 10,000. Well, what is 7 times 10,000? It's 70,000. It's the same thing. It's just written a different way. So then we're going to go to our next digit, which is the 4. What column is it in? The hundreds. So we have to do 4 times 100 plus, and then what is 4 times 100? It's 400. So they match. They just look a little different. And then finally, we have the last 8, and we're going to do the 8. What column is the 8 in? It's in the ones column. Okay, so it's 8 times 1. That is another way to write it in expanded form. If you ever see this, they might tell you to write it in regular number form or standard form. 3 times a million is 3 million. 7 times 10,000 is 70,000. 4 times 100 is 400. 8 times 1 is 8. So we put the 3 in the millions, the 7 in the 10,000s, the 4 in the hundreds, and the 8 in the ones. And then you would just put zeros in the other ones, and that would make your number. Why do we put zeros? Well, because there wasn't a 100,000 one. There wasn't a 1,000 one. There wasn't a 10 one. Anyway, I hope this helps a little bit. Some of you all struggled a little bit on your quiz yesterday. We'll keep working and plugging away on it. Hopefully this works, helps you all make a little bit more sense. I'll be coming back with other videos this week to assist in explaining some of the new concepts that you're learning.